Emeka sat in the dimly lit bedroom, staring at the empty side of the bed where his wife, Adora, used to sleep. The past few weeks had been a nightmare. Adora had fallen sick suddenly, and before he could even understand what was happening, she was gone. Just like that. Now he was left alone with their two children, Chisom and Ebuka, ages 6 and 4. They were too young to understand the depth of what had happened. Chisom cried every night, asking when mommy would come back. Ebuka, too little to fully grasp it, would wake up in the middle of the night, calling for her. It shattered Emeka's heart. He was a hard-working man, but work meant long hours. He couldn't be there for the children the way they needed. The house felt cold, lifeless. The children needed their mother, and he needed help. That was when the idea came to him. Adora's younger sister, Nneka. Nneka had always been close to the family. She had adored her sister, and she loved the children. During Adora's funeral, she had taken charge, comforting them, helping around the house. Emeka had watched the way she held Chisom and Ebuka, the way she wiped their tears and rocked them to sleep. She would be perfect. She was family. She would love them the way Adora did. And so 3 months after Adora's death, he did what he thought was best. He married Nneka. It was the worst mistake of his life. At first, everything seemed fine. Nneka moved into the house and took over as mother. She played with the children, cooked their meals, and Emeka was relieved. He started believing he had made the right decision. But as time passed, the warmth began to fade. Nneka changed. She became impatient. The love and care she had shown at first disappeared. It started with little things, ignoring the children when they called her, snapping at them over small mistakes. Then the punishments began. One evening, Chisom accidentally spilled her juice on the dining table. Before she could even stammer an apology, Nneka slapped her so hard, she fell off the chair. "Nneka, what are you doing?" Emeka had shouted. Shocked. "She's too careless," Nneka replied coldly. "They need to learn discipline." Emeka had never raised a hand to his children. Adara had never raised a hand to them. This wasn't discipline. This was cruelty. But he convinced himself that maybe it was just stress. Maybe Nneka was struggling to adjust. Then things got worse. At night, the children would cry themselves to sleep. But this time, not for their mother. They cried because of the monster their father had married. Nneka stopped feeding them properly. She would cook lavish meals for herself and Emeka, but for the children, dry rice with no meat. Some days, nothing at all. When Emeka was around, she pretended everything was fine. She would smile and act like a loving mother. But when he left for work, himself emerged. One evening, he came home earlier than expected. As he entered the house, he heard muffled cry from the children's room. He rushed inside. What he saw made his blood run cold. Chisom was kneeling on the floor, her hands raised in the air, sobbing. Ebuka was coiled up in a corner, shaking, and Nneka stood over them, a belt in her hand. "What is going on here?" Emeka roared. Nneka turned, startled. "They refused to sleep on time," she said with a shrug. "They needed discipline." Emeka saw the fear in his children's eyes. Something inside him snapped. That night, as he sat alone in the dark, guilt ate him. He had thought Nneka would love them. He had thought she would be another Adora. But Adora could never be replaced. Suddenly, the air around him felt heavy, suffocating. A shiver ran down his spine, and then a soft whisper. "You made the worst mistake, Emeka." His heart pounded. He turned sharply, but there was no one there. But he knew that voice. It was Adora's. A cold realization grabbed him. He had failed his children. He had let a monster into their home. The next morning, he made his decision. He waited until Nneka left the house, then packed her things. When she returned, he was standing at the door with her bags. "You are leaving." "What?" She laughed. "Emeka, stop joking." "I am not joking. You will not stay another night in this house." She sneered. "Oh, now you want to be a hero. After all I've done for you. You did nothing but bring pain to my children. I will never forgive myself for marrying you. Now leave before I do something I regret." She glared at him, but she saw the rage in his eyes. She knew he meant it. Without another word, she packed up her bags and left. That night, for the first time in months, Chisom and Ebuka slept peacefully. Emeka sat beside them, stroking their hair gently. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I should have protected you." Chisom stirred in her sleep and mumbled, "Daddy." "Yes, my love." "Is mommy watching over us?" A tear slipped down his cheeks. "Yes, my dear, she always is." He had made a mistake, but he would spend the rest of his life making it right, and he would never let anyone hurt his children again.